All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day today. Welcome to sort of a mid-afternoon live stream, or sort of like an early afternoon live stream. I can't even remember the last time I did one of these. It's gonna be kind of cool to kind of go live and just chill with sort of an early afternoon crowd. I'm actually kind of excited for this because I haven't done one of these in a while, and I usually don't really like to do these, but hey, we're back. We're doing it, man. We're doing it. What's up, Isaac? How you doing today? Braden, Michael, Suave, Blowjob Joe's in here. What's up, William and Kobe? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Tech Feeds? How you doing today, Fireboy? What's up, Carol and Master Santiago? Andrew Dickerson, welcome to the stream. We got Trix, Joe. We got Beryl, Caleb, Viper, Eric, Jake, Billy, Dan. Welcome to the stream. Sean, how you doing today? Outcast, welcome to the stream. What's up, Hedge Warmer or Hedge Wombat? Never mind, I can't read. Thank you so much to Vlogwood. Ian, welcome to the stream. How you doing today, Eli? What's up, Aiden? How you doing today, Noah? Guys, we are literally on the cusp of I was about to say pre-season 3, but it's technically season 3 of season 3 in Fortnite, which is crazy. Really crazy to think about. I feel like I am still in season 1. This season 3 game's moving too fast, man. Fortnite's growing up too quick for all of us, bro. We need to keep Fortnite at its roots. I'm just messing. Welcome to the stream, guys. Hopefully you're all having an awesome day. Let's hop into some solos, get this going here. We got 300 people in the stream. If you guys are already here, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Although I'm going to stop saying that right at the beginning of streams because that's incredibly stupid, because all of you guys in here are OGs anyways. So welcome to all the OGs. I wish I could shout literally every single person out, but I can't. Matt Grossman, welcome to the stream. What's up, Sloth, Hedge, Fireboy, J Master, Chaz, hello. Do you know when the new season goes live? Sometime tomorrow morning, man. I honestly don't know. Preseason Omega Low, this is an H1Z1. Nah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Remember when Ninja killed you? No, I don't know who Ninja is. Thank you very much, Joel. By the way, that's a joke. Of course I know who Ninja is. I made a video on it that went semi-viral and blew up my channel a little bit on Fortnite, which is kind of lit. But unfortunately, that video is now slowly dying down, so we're just going to have to come to grips with the fact that I'm going to once again become irrelevant, ladies and gentlemen, and we're just going to be back to, wow, the loneliness of the lag in Fortnite. Let's get it. What's up, Tahil? How you doing today? I just got banned. Rise Thomas, you got banned already, bro? The stream just started. What could you possibly have done? Thank you very much, guys, for 281,000 subscribers. You guys are awesome. Thanks for the Twitter follow. Ace Vesper, I got you, man. Yeah, I do follow back every single notification squad member on Twitter, guys. So, if you want that follow back, you know what I'm saying? So I'm deciding to do 2 streams today, and you guys might be able to tell I did change my overlay a little bit. So my overlay, my face cam is a little bit smaller. And I think it's a nice appropriate size now. I think it kind of fits nicely. Some people were complaining the other day that the webcam was too big, too large, and so I decreased the size of it a little bit. So hopefully it's a little bit more manageable if you were pissed off that it covered too much of your screen. What's up, Brina? How you doing today, Dan? What's up, Funky? Have I played with Muselk? No, I've never played with Muselk, man. I like your face cam size. I'm hoping you guys like the face cam size that I have right now, because this is the new one. So, if you prefer for it to be bigger, which I can't imagine why you guys would. You know, then you're kind of screwed, in all honesty. So we know he's on the roof. Yikes, sorry, my man. Isn't there still something up here? Ooh, yikes. Almost didn't do that. Ah! Did we pick up everything? Oh, I think we did. Wow, that's like the first time I've ever gone up there and successfully picked up like everything out of that drop. Usually I screw something up. We're gonna leave that there for right now. Can you shout me out? Yo, Michael, huge shout out to you, my man. Welcome to the stream, brother. Ah! Yikes. Okay. I'll take this extra AR, actually. Pretty sure there's at least one other guy here. I'm actually a little bit surprised he didn't do more damage than that. Ooh, servers aren't feeling too shabby today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. 3 kills already. I'll take this first game on. What's up, Vontae? How you doing today, my man? Bang, bang. Shakaruli. How you doing today, Michael? So Henis. Why is Henis so sexy on the keyboard, though? Bro, I wish I was even more sexy, man. Wish I was even more sexy. First game win? Yo, Paul, if we get a first game win on, man, I'm gonna be so super stoked. It's gonna be legendary. Hey, today, Sloth. It's a small gang. Yeah, Panda Warriors. Bit of a smaller gang this morning, because I usually don't live stream at this time. That's like my biggest downfall. I usually don't live stream this this sort of early in the day. Most of my live streams are usually a little bit later, but I was like, you know what? For all the EU people out there, I don't know. There's just something about this time of day that's just... It'll be nice to stream right now. I don't know. There's just something satisfying about this time to stream. And if I can, I kind of want to try to make this a bit of a regular thing. I feel like that might be kind of nice. Yo, hold on. I got to make sure donations are... The alerts can be heard. Give me a quick second, guys. So we're going to do that.
Are you having a good day so far?
Close that out. Yes, so Shadow, I'm having an awesome day so far, man. Thank you so much for uploading that video, bro. I got a good laugh out of it. And I loved your editing, man. The editing was actually really good. I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much, man, for the video. I appreciate your donation from the video, and I appreciate this one, too. Thank you so much, man. Good luck in your next games, bro. I left a comment on the video. I hope you win your next few Fortnite matches. Let's get some Shadow hype in the chat. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Shadow actually made a video where he actually made a bet with himself that he'd have to donate to me if he didn't win 3 games of Fortnite. So he did a live commentary and uploaded it to his channel, ended up losing all 3 games, and then had to donate to me, which he obviously didn't have to do, but he made the bet with himself, and then he pulled through with it. So I tweeted out the video earlier today, guys. If you want to go check it out, there's a link to it on my Twitter. It should be my second most recent tweet or my most recent tweet, something like that. What's up, Tal? How you doing today, Siege Films? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Wizard? Henis, change your skin. Lol's the same since yesterday. Listen, no user. I'll change it, man. I got you. I got you. We were just rocking the Red Knights, man. You know? Was Salty Springs seriously not looted? I am kind of on the edge of the safe zone here. Kind of tempted to pick up those nades, but I don't really think I need them. There's just something about the way I'm playing right now. I feel fresher. That doesn't make any sense. Rather than talking about how I'm feeling good, make a move like that. Yeah, this whole area was just not looted. I think maybe the house all the way down at the very end was looted, but not any of these. Jesus, man. What the hell's going on with everything? Getting all these potions. Hey, how you doing today, Exildy HD? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Kyle? How you doing today, Trady? What on earth was that? Why was that gunfight so incredibly awkward? Hey, what's up, Griffin? How you doing today, bud? Welcome to the stream. What do heck? Now we can't pick up so much of this stuff.
BTW, I'm going to need some more shocked faces.
Oh. Bruh. You already know I'm down. I love that. Was part of one of my favorite things, the way you edited that video. I love that you asked me to make a funny face for your thumbnail. I thought that was awesome. Only 1 med kit. Yeah, alright, we're gonna rock with this. I don't think he had a green AR or a better AR or anything, so I think we should be alright. Hey, how you doing today, Tricky? And he came right up here, so Maybe this is where he came from. I'm not really sure, actually. We have 700 wood, though. Feeling solid on that. We should probably just move more towards the middle of the safe zone. I think that's what I'm going to do right now. What's up, BO3 Basketball? How you doing today, Kyle? What's up, Braster? Or Blaster? What's my gamer tag? My name on Epic Games is just ProHenis. ProHenis. Was there a green AR back there? It's all good. We're just going to rock with the gray one. I didn't think there was a better one. Oh, bro, I just skipped because I saw the... Bro, that actually just made me jump. What the heck? Because somebody's destroying something back here. I want to rush up on this guy. I don't care, man. Hopefully I have time to drink this. Hopefully no one's going to snipe me. Good try, my good sir. Good try. Lots of mini potions. There was a guy over here for sure. He destroyed one of these trees out here. That's what I saw. Bro, I legit jump scared. Like, did you guys see me? I physically jumped in my seat. I don't know if I've ever done that before. Alright, I may go back and try to grab something else off of his body. Actually, no, I'm not going to. I was going to say, like, maybe grab nades or something, but bottom line is I don't really need them. I mean, we got 2 med kits. We've got all this health, too. We should be good. What's up, Darren Hudson? How do you get coins? You earn coins simply by watching the stream, brother. I got to head to the safe zone. Screen can't be lagging like that. It can't be happening. Love your streams. Thank you, Fireboy. So yeah, my plan is to do 2 live streams today. I'm going to do one right now for a few hours, and then we're going to do a usual late night one too. I'm going to have to take a nap in between those though. Because I am exhausted for some reason. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. I got to find... Well, actually, no. I didn't get a great night's sleep last night. That's probably my problem. What's up, Stan? Did not get a solid night's sleep last night. And I don't really know why. I think it was just restless. I made the mistake of like falling asleep a little bit past midnight, and then my body woke up at like 6 a.m. And then I got up, did some stuff, and then tried to go back to bed for like only an hour, and I think that's where I really screwed myself. Another potion, dude. What's up, Skymaster? Try to move over to this base we just saw over here. You guys see this base, right? Base right over here. I don't even know if... Oh. He's got a scar. Let's go, baby. Oh, what the heck? Hold on. Am I actually about to leave that, man? I think about that. I'm actually... Actually, you know what? I've got 2 campfires. I'm actually going to take the potion. I'm actually going to make that move. I got 3 campfires, actually. Take that back. Okay. That's the plan. We're rocking with this. How you doing today, Gamer Kid? What's up, Big? How you doing today, Michael? My friend says try to do a trick shot. Bro, I'm just trying to win my first game on. If we win the first game on, I'm gonna have to start doing more of these early streams, these sort of early afternoon, 1 p.m. type streams. Cause, I mean, hell, that's gotta mean something, right? It's gotta. You gonna buy merch? Hey, that's awesome to hear, man. Yeah. So I've been talking to you guys for the last couple of days about some merch designs that I'm having worked on behind the scenes, and the design has pretty much been finalized, which is incredibly exciting. Like, I don't know if you guys really understand how exciting that is for me. So I'm gonna have, it's interesting though, because it's not really considered a merch design, but I'm gonna use it as a merch design because I think it's gonna look really cool. But yes, I do have merch. Shop.prohenis.com. There's a link in the cards, and there's also a link in the description down below. Are you freaking serious, my guy? course, that other guy was there for me. He heard the shot. I can't wait for your new merch. I think it's gonna look pretty cool. It's like so a lot of you guys have seen the design that I already have, right? It's just that H logo. Right now I'm wearing Oceans merch, but the H logo I think looks really nice. So yeah, that was unfortunate. That is a rip in the chat. Thanks for streaming early. Keep it up. Yo, thank you, man. I'm glad you enjoy it, bro. What's up, Brian? How many coins do I have? You can check your coin balance by typing !coins in the chat. What's up, Traility? How you doing today? God dang it, brothers. What's up, Skymaster? How you doing today, Stan? You're a savage, Jesse. I think you're a savage, brother. I think you're a savage. I'm really pissed that the stream got hit with limited ads right at the beginning, like just before we started. And I think the big reason for that is because we were streaming zombies last night, and usually zombies can sometimes trigger the limited or no ads thing. And I don't care. It's not even about the ad revenue that streams make. The biggest frustration for me with limited or no ads is the fact that notifications don't get sent out as consistently. So that's why I think we didn't have like as strong of a start to the stream as we usually do. I gotta check something here real quick. I just want to see if limited ads got removed or not. Oh, it did get removed. Okay, perfect. So hopefully we'll start seeing the streams in more recommended and stuff. I was going to say, because we are starting to slowly increase viewers, which is nice. Let's go Fatal. Hashtag limited or no ads. I'm going to have to get a t-shirt that just says, like, demonetized on it. I feel like that'd be kind of funny. What's up, Ricky? Where's Kenny? Kenny usually doesn't wake up this early, I'm pretty sure. What's up, Amabis? I'm heading to the house. What's up, Bubba? I think my biggest problem in that last gunfight was not paying attention to the other guy. Yeah, I shouldn't have stood still for so long. I watch your videos all the time, and no one, you haven't said my name. Crazy Safe? Is that how you pronounce your name, man? I don't know. Check Discord DMs? Alright. Un momento, Billiard. Yo, that's really cool. Yeah, so Billiard just sent me some like more information. If you guys didn't know, so preseason 3, one of the things they're adding tomorrow is some like back bling, which is sort of Fortnite's creative way of saying, look, we're going to be adding backpacks into the game, but nothing that's actually going to affect gameplay, which is really nice, I think. I think backpacks would kind of ruin this game. You know, if you were able to hold a backpack on your character and then actually have that influence the amount of material or weapons or stuff you're allowed to hold. What's up, Corbink03? How you doing, my man? Because I personally think that would really kind of ruin the game. I kind of like the way the game's set up right now with the inventory. You can pick up as much ammo as you want. I just don't think that adding another inventory slot is necessary. I think they've really kind of hit the nail on the head with all this stuff. So, back bling. But yeah, he apparently... So, Raptor's backpack comes with an equipable item in your locker. Oh, okay. So, I guess in the backpack, you'll be able to equip, like, maybe another emote or something like that? Is that what that means? Change the skin after? Yeah, I'll change the skin after this, man. Promise. Got you. Only got this SMG for right now. Let's set it over here. We did see a guy that was parachuting in, sort of late, over in this direction. What's up, Jack? That was not my intent. How'd you see him over here? I think that was just a glitch. Because he doesn't read chat. Bro. Billiard. A long message like that isn't even meant for the chat. To put something like that in the chat. If you're talking about the message you sent me. And I can't read every chat message. SMH. You said not the Discord. He sent me a Discord message. He said check Discord PMs. I'm obviously missing something. I don't even think you guys are roasting on me anymore. What's up, Vixen? How you doing today, Samuel? Alright, I'm just gonna have to get the heck out of here. What do coins do? You can use coins to enter into giveaways that I do at the end of every month. Oh, also, I wanted to mention this to you guys. So I got another message from the developer of the Fuzzbot, the bot that I, proBot, the bot that I use for the live streams. And so one of the things that he mentioned is that now that they're not going to be, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but they are taking away the loyalty shop, which means that you guys aren't going to be able to redeem your things for things other than giveaways. You are going to be able to use your coins for giveaways, but you're not going to be able to redeem your coins for things that were on the loyalty shop, like a sub on Twitch. Exactly. So that's why I DM'd it to you. Tom said, "Why'd you DM that?" Oh. Because I want to see it. God, why is having a conversation in my streams? Just Billiard being a snake as usual. Oh, okay. I got you. Oh, Tom was wondering why not in the actual Discord. Why does in Discord PMs? I think. Maybe I'm on the actual same page now. I don't know. What's my Discord? You guys can type !Discord in the chat. What's up, Fortnite gamer? How you doing, my man? I just watched your video of on getting killed by Ninja, and I liked it. Hey, Xander Tucker, I'm glad you enjoyed it, brother. And I'm glad you decided to stop by the stream. Appreciate it, my man. Welcome to my humble abode, my YouTube stream. Enjoy your stay. Yikes. I really want just a regular AR. Oh, no, we ran into a regular AR back there, and I didn't pick it up. Yeah, we'll just stick with the burst for right now. I completely forgot about that. If you guys are enjoying the stream, make sure you drop a like and subscribe if you're new. Do appreciate all the support already. I didn't expect... It does stink that we got hit with limited ads, but it is what it is with notifications. Time for a W? Time for a W, Sam. Yeah, I mean, you got W right in your name, so... We haven't even found another person yet this game. What's up, Zari? He's in here. Bro. What goes through your mind, man? Like, you don't even turn around to fight that. What's going on? You just gave me a free scar. Like, holy Jesus. And another scar. I actually don't even know what to make of that. That's actually so weird. Hey today, Jesse. What's up, Fuzz? That kid was like, it's like he accepted his fate and was just like, yeah, it's whatever. I'll just let this guy kill me. That's so weird, man. Wow. Got some building going on over here. Oh, Boston Q, are you talking about when the season 3 is coming out? Because I know it's supposed to come out tomorrow. But I have no idea when, to be honest with you. And I think that's what you just said. You said they announced the 21st, but they don't know exactly when yet. Probably getting a tweet later today about the 3.0 update. Yeah. Heard gunshots over here. Well, my screen just froze. I'm dead here. I think I just barely got it off in time. Oh my god. I might actually not make this. Okay. And we are running. I think we are going to make this, actually. Oh, hey, Winter. What's going on? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you coming in. Those shots were so sloppy on my end. My god. What's up, Shannon? Alright, so now I should be able to make it to this safe zone. Get out, apply the next med kit. The one last med kit that we have. Which should be fun. We're good. Woo! Yo, what's up, D1 Keith? How you doing today, my man? Welcome to the stream. I don't have a launch pad, bro. Unfortunately, I don't think I picked one up anyway. Screen, screen, screen. Okay. That's the top of a tree. Oh god, I thought that was a person. Oh man. What's up, Panda? Welcome to the stream. Okay. I'm gonna get up here. Try to get a little bit more high ground. I'm loving the stream. Yo, thank you, Henry. I appreciate it, bro. You gotta be kidding me, man. That was a shot if I've ever seen one. That shot sounded so far away. Nice. No bandages, that's nice. Where is this guy? Is that him up over there? No, wait, lyrics in this game, bro? It's lyric. It's Lyric that's been shooting at me. No way. What's up, official? How you doing today, brother? Welcome to the stream, man. Can't tell if there's only one guy or two guys over there. What? I'm drinking GFuel? Yeah, I am, man. I need to heal up, bro. I don't have any bandages. And I'm kind of pissed that guy didn't have any. What's up, Logan? I really don't want to peek out for anything right now. Bro, I don't know where this shot's coming from. No way, bro. That was a nice shot. Damn, he must have just barely timed that nicely. Damn, GG's, bro. That was top 2, too. Freak, man. God damn it. I love your streams. Thank you, Danielle. Appreciate it. Jeez, that sucks. That's unfortunate. RIPs, RIPs. Oh, I gotta change my skin here. That's what I think he was trying to do, but I didn't think he was at the right angle to be able to hit the back part of my base without hitting the front wall first. That stinks, man. You should play Fortnite? Yeah, Callum, I should, man. It seems like a pretty fun game. I'm gonna rock with a Love Ranger outfit. Let's get a solid rip in the chat, dude. Oh man. If you guys are enjoying the stream though, make sure you drop a like, subscribe as well if you're new. When you subscribe, you'll see your name appear in the lower right hand corner. Appreciate all the support, guys. Feels sad. Well, am I level 100, man? Always build a wall when an RPG is going towards you. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could have done that. I don't know. It's just unfortunate, man. It's just unfortunate. I'm back. What's up, Jack? I should have built walls no matter what, just saying. Yeah. I mean, I'm just not looking... In that situation, I'm low on wood. I'm not looking to waste a whole lot of material, because I don't know how much material I'm going to need if we end up getting into a build battle at the end, you know? Play as Wukong. I could go with the Wukong outfit. That's true. That's true. The Wukong outfit's a little, I don't know. It's cool. It's definitely cool. Spam spacebar so hard we immediately went to parachute mode. My lord. I'll switch up to Wukong outfit after this, though. I got you guys. How old am I? Richie, I'm 19 years old. What's up, Ashley? Can I play Rules of Survival? Oh, isn't that mobile game? I don't know. That's always seemed to me as sort of like a wannabe battle royale, like for PC, you know. What on earth was that? Ah, this Fortnite looks dumb? What do you mean Fortnite looks dumb? I'll rock with the Wukong outfit. That was obnoxious. That guy hit his shot. I mean, what I should have done there is I should have jumped because he had a Magnum. So if I'm jumping there, it's a lot harder for him to hit his shot. But I came up nice and slow, and it's through wood, so he can see me come up. Henis, do you reckon they will add custom matches on Fortnite where you can go against pro bots? I don't know if they'll. I don't think they'll add bot players to this game. I think there will come a point, absolutely, where you can have custom games in Fortnite, which is going to be awesome for me because like there's going to be so many opportunities for, you know, different content creation, different challenges. Like as a YouTuber, that stuff really excites me because that's where you really open up the doors for a lot of possibilities, you know. Am I ever gonna play League of Legends? No, I'm not a big fan. I mean, it seems so out of the genre of what I like. Go Tilted Towers. What? Somebody's face just came flying at me again. You guys saw that, right? How'd you get good? Just lots of practice. When did I turn 20? I turned 20 in July, brother. I'm gonna head Tilted Towers. Let's get it. What's up, Obed? I'm watching in school right now. Hey, yeah, I know a lot of my viewers actually do go to school, so I was wondering sort of when I did these earlier streams, sort of how many viewers I was gonna get. But so far, it seems to be, you know, it's fairly decent. What's up, Viperian? Hey, man, what's up, Death? Death Soul Taker. Goodness, that's quite the name. What's my best win? 16 kills is my best win. I'm gonna go right into the side of the middle building here. So many people, bro. Yikes. Wow, I was not expecting that. It's an outfit, not a suit. Whatever it is. Try to break out of this wall right here. Oh, shoot. Don't you dare. You've got to be kidding me. He took time. He stopped to drink the potion, bro. And then I awkwardly hit the side of the wall and I couldn't get out there as smoothly as I wanted to. He is the best Fortnite player if he killed Ninja? No, absolutely not. I don't ever want to be given the title of he's the best Fortnite player because he killed Ninja. Absolutely no way. By the way, guys, those of you who are DMing me on Discord, I don't check Discord DMs like at all. So the best way for you guys to like message me at all is on Twitter. Twitter's the best social media to contact me on. Like I should have just kept going after that guy, but he had the pump. We hit him so many times at the beginning too. And I think that's why I've sort of started to really use the pump more than the tack. It's like I just got to trust more in my shot and just know that like when I'm going for that first, like if I don't hit that first shot, I just got to swap over or build. And I think that kind of forces me to play smarter, right? Play slower. So it'll be like that. Please stop asking if you're ever late to the live stream. You guys can check how long I've been streaming for. And you should never be worried about being late. Fire Vlogs, I'm looking at you. I freaking love you, bro. But chill, okay? You're good. Exclamation point uptime in the chat. And the bot will tell you how long I've been live for. Or it's right below the, it's right in the description too. On YouTube anyway. But exclamation point uptime, that command works on both Twitch and YouTube. How many kills do I have? 15 trillion. Hey, what's up, Ocean? 15 trillion kills, my man. I hate my life. Clearly, I have zero sense of direction. Bro, what is happening? There we go. Bro, every wall in here has been exposed. Unbelievable. All thanks to me. I can't build. And my screen just freezes like that, man. I gotta figure out what's been causing that. I don't know why. And I really don't think it's a graphics issue. Because I have two PCs that I use for streaming, so I don't know. It's weird. You just dominated him, bro. That one shot to the headshot on the first guy that we killed. I mean, that's just the power of the pump. And I think that's why I've started to fall in love with it so much. But yeah, that was honestly just, I don't even know what that was. Maybe I pressed the wrong button or something, but I'm pretty sure I built like a vertical wall. That was my plan. I was going to go up to that ramp, build a vertical wall right at the top so then he couldn't jump over. The lag probably would have still allowed him to glitch through the wall though. I don't know. Yo guys, thank you so much for 500 likes in the stream. I appreciate it a ton. What am I doing? Zombies? I did some zombies last night, man. They patched the double pump, or they're going to be patching the double pump tomorrow. So I think tomorrow's when preseason 3 starts and they come out with a new update, right? I think those two things go hand in hand. If you guys are enjoying the stream as well, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're 10 subs off of 281,300 subscribers. Really do appreciate all the support. For real, guys. For real, for real, for real. I really do. One of the things that I don't give you guys enough appreciation for, all the Twitch viewers. All of you guys who are over on Twitch, you guys are all absolute legends. And you guys are actually vital to sort of like a lot of the big stuff that's I'm going to be trying to do on my channel here soon. Because I want to create like a highlight reel of a lot of cool Fortnite plays. So all of you guys watching on Twitch, whenever I hit a cool sniper shot or if ever I make a cool play, please clip it. And you don't even bother asking me if you think it's cool, because if you think it's cool, clip it. Or, you know, and especially if I tell you to clip it, then clip it. You know? Don't really want that. Henis, I love your streams. Keep up the good work. Thank you, man. I appreciate that a lot. How do you clip things? Oh, that's the thing. You can't clip things on YouTube, and that's why I like to stream on Twitch. I mean, that's one of the big reasons I like to stream on Twitch. I like Twitch TV as a platform, but Twitch also has a feature where you can clip and you can save the last like 30 to 60 seconds of a game or of a stream, I mean. And so when you're live streaming, you know, if you want to try to get a reaction, if something really cool just happened, you press the clip button and it will automatically save the last 60 seconds, which is really, really cool. I clip everything. Yo, it's just a little bit harder on YouTube because YouTube doesn't have like a built-in feature for it. And especially on mobile, it doesn't really work out. What's up, Rise? How you doing, buddy? But I'm hoping YouTube ends up adding a feature like that at some point. I feel like people would really like that feature, especially streamers. I think that'd be really cool. What's up, Ethan? I subscribed. Yo, thank you, Death. I appreciate that a ton, brother. It's the second time I had the disco bomb and I didn't use it. The disco bomb doesn't work in close range combat like that, though. Because as soon as I pull out the disco bomb and I try to use it, what happens is that I'm more than likely hitting myself, too. So then I start dancing, and then that's completely useless. When that guy's coming up over the ledge, my best option is try to hit him with the headshot with the shotgun. And we both had tax. I think he might have just had a better color, or his shot was nicer. I don't know. They'll probably add it. I hope so, because it's such a powerful feature on Twitch. And it makes sharing content so much easier, too. And I feel like that's a big thing that YouTube would really like, you know? Just the ability to share stuff easier. Can you not, bro? You're such a freaking loser, man. Oh, my God. There's nothing in here. This is why loot distribution is a problem in this game. I can't go out anywhere. I have 1 HP. If this isn't a perfect example of 1 HP in a dream, then I don't know what is. Okay, everybody relax. We have 26 HP in total. If he's got wall hacks, he's looking at me right now. You already know it. I'm gonna freak him out. Hopefully that scares him a little bit. This is such a weird fight, bro. What is going on? Oh my lord. We're actually alive, ladies and gentlemen. We are actually alive. Can I get a hallelujah in the chat? Wow. Not exactly how I pictured it ending, but solid ending nonetheless. We came out on top, so I'm happy. That's even better. Oh, guy's still over here. Yeah, we do have to worry about the storm, guys. I gotta go to the storm. I gotta go to the safe zone, I mean. Not the storm. Okay. Give me that. Okay. How far are we? Oh, we're pretty far. That's alright, though. We got plenty of bandages to be able to heal ourselves up, so we should be alright. 3 kills coming out of Pleasant. Honestly, better than I thought was gonna happen. Pick up the gold pistol? Oh, I got you, bro. 100%. I'm probably not gonna end up using it a whole lot, but I really want to try to test out this scoped AR more, for sure. I do have to go across Loot Lake. That's probably the most annoying part about all this. Is I do have to go to cross Loot Lake. And that's annoying, because that means I'm going to have to use material or take more time to walk around. 1 HP for the win? Yeah. Henis, it's me. What's up, Jordy YouTuber? We got a minute 50 seconds actually to get to the safe zone, so I think we'll actually be able to do this fine. There's a guy right here, though. This guy may slow us down a lot. I can't tell if he has a sniper, but I'm going to get close to him to make sure the gunfight doesn't last long. I'm not in the mood for a long-range fight right now. He doesn't look like a great player either. Okay. Gotta go, 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 go. You know what I'm saying? Whew. Okay, we should be alright. Yeah, no, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. That's the power of the pump, baby. Goodness gracious.
Can you buy me the Season 3 Battle Pass?
Where is this guy's footsteps? I'm sorry, bro. I don't think I can, man. I don't think I can. I really do appreciate the $2 donation, brother. If you want to buy the Battle Pass, bros, save up your money a little bit. Don't be donating it to me. Get the green pump? I don't have time, man. I'm not going to go back and get anything. I should get out of here and heal. And then there's going to be people in the river I'm going to have to deal with. Yeah. I'm going to be really weak coming out of this as it is, man. Yeah, dude just died right there. The guy who was shooting at him, I don't know. Oh, I think I saw him. He was all the way back down the river. He was, like, far, far down. Oh, wow. There's a fight going on down there right now. I'm not going to risk it, though. I'm going to heal up first. Alright, let's go for it.
GG's, my man. Woo. Okay. Keep on keeping on. Henis, can you notice me? Yo, Astonishing Airsoft. I'm sorry, brother. Welcome to the stream, man. Appreciate you coming in. What's up, Tayden? Alright, I'm getting up here for sure. I see him. What the heck? I didn't build. He sees me coming up. My whole screen froze. My whole screen froze. Yikes. Take a breather. Take a breather. Take a breather. I don't know if there's any other players around me. Actually, you know what? I am just going to take those. I don't really have anything else better I need to take, so. What's up, K-Lords? Alright, full health, full shield, baby. Yo, this is literally a rags to riches story in Fortnite. Starting out how we did in Pleasant Park and then coming out of this game. This is good stuff, baby. The one big thing that we're really slacking on right now, though, is building material. So I guess I'm just going to try to loot as much material as I can around here. What's my favorite piece of merch? Well, right now, oh, it's definitely, so if you're talking about like the designs, man, it's definitely the white hoodie with the black logo. That for me is my favorite merch design that I have for myself. I'm really excited about this new merch design I'm going to be bringing you guys maybe as soon as like in the next week. Which is pretty cool. My last thing that I want to have happen right now is I just really don't want to get shot. What's up, the Warhead? If you guys are enjoying the live stream right now, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Really do appreciate the support. Unopened chest. I'm going to go for that. Okay, actually, we're going to go for this first. This dude's out of the save zone, so I'm not really sure what the grand plan is here. That had to be the same guy, right? I think it was. Although that build up there did seem pretty quick. If that was the guy. Ooh, Henis. That was sloppy. That was sloppy. That was sloppy. We should just get to the safe zone. Wow, did he just get sniped?
Is it 4 hours until Season Pass 3 is out for Fortnite, or is it a day until it releases? Pass menu says 1 day, but in store it says 4 hours until items reset. I was thinking they might do it then.
Can't build. You've got to be kidding me. I actually fell to my death. That's unbelievable, bro. I meant to catch myself. Oh, that was a good fight with that guy, though. That was a good fight. We just kept building up and up and up. That was good. That was good. Those are the fights to live for, man. But I definitely choked that. God, I was thinking to myself, I took too much fall damage on that second, on the first, like, iteration when I tried to fall back down. That was so stupid, bro. Austin, I'm sorry I missed your donation. I'll read that out in a second. Let's get a solid rip in the chat. Please subscribe because I'm not usually that terrible. Let's get a rip and a lull. What system? I'm on the PC, guys. What's up, Kiev Webs? What's up, Danielle? Austin comes in with the $1. Says, is it 4 hours until Season 3 is out for Fortnite, or is it a day until it releases? Pass menu says 1 day, but in the store it says 4 hours until items set. I was thinking they might do it then. They won't. It definitely is not coming out in 4 hours. I don't think. Because I'm pretty sure there's an update going along with it, too. And that update won't be released until tomorrow morning. At least from what I understand. Unless there's something I really don't understand. I'm pretty sure it's coming out tomorrow. What we'll most likely see the next update that'll give us a better time frame is we're going to get a tweet from Fortnite. The official Fortnite Twitter that's going to tell us when the new update's going to drop. And then hopefully that'll give us some insight. Yeah, it comes out tomorrow. I don't know when the update's going to drop, though. The update's most likely going to drop sometime early tomorrow morning Eastern time. My guess would be around, like, sometime between, like, around 4 a.m. Eastern time. That's just when updates have dropped in the past. Hello, dude. I'm a fan and a new subber. Yo, thank you, Netis. Appreciate it, bud. Dude, I can't talk today. I can't talk. But Austin, I do appreciate your $1, man. Let's get some Austin hype in the chat. Thank you, brother. They said the 21st of February, so tomorrow? Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, aren't we just officially decked out in the best Fortnite weapon of all time? The pump shotgun. Yikes, what's up, brother? Hey, how you doing today, Benny? Welcome to the stream, my man. What's up, FIFA? What game is this? This is Fortnite Battle Royale. Joe's most, bro. Thanks for coming to the stream, man. What's up, Gavin? Joe's most, bro. You're so funny. I like when this... Oh, there's somebody in that house. I'm only guessing because the door's open, but... Yikes. What's up, my guy? That was, Green froze. Excuse me. That was, like, literally a perfect example of, like... You gotta hit your shot, right? If you don't hit your shot with your pump, then you're not gonna win those gunfights. You know what I'm saying, man? We got lucky there. Actually, no, I'm not going to call that luck. I'm going to call that pure skill. You know? That was like literally another example of me just like, I need to be patient with those shots. Because you know how I didn't shoot like immediately, right? Had to take my time with that shot. Make sure my shot was on. Because I only get one shot at this. If I miss that shot, then I'm dead. I haven't won a game yet today, and we've been live for a little over an hour. I don't know why, but it seems longer. What's up, Cameron? From where am I from? I am from the United States of America, the grand state of Maine, which is one of the most northern states. Please don't see me. Please don't see me. Please don't see me. Ah! Getting shot at. That's neat. Ah! All the stuff's right down here? Alright, perfect. Or some of his stuff's right down here? Oh! What am I doing, bro? Bro, why are you so obnoxious, man? That had to be the guy from up there, right? I have no wood right now. Okay. I think we're good now, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Gupper? As we venture more into the safe zone. What's up, Neon Flip? Only 5 kills right now? Okay. What if anybody else is going to use my jump pad? I hope they do. What's up, Bob? Hey, welcome to all the new subscribers today as well. If you guys are new to the channel, drop a like in the stream and subscribe. My name's ProHenis. I live stream Fortnite every single day because I love Fortnite. If you love Fortnite, we can be friends. Drop a like and subscribe. Friend me on MySpace. And don't forget to tip your neighbors, waitresses. FaZe Rug is in the live stream? I'm pretty sure it's a fake FaZe Rug, man, if I were to guess. The real FaZe Rug is probably not in the stream. I have no idea where I'm heading right now. I guess I just head more towards Loot Lake. Kind of wish I had a sniper. How many total wins do I have? 210 something? Little more than 210, what I'm trying to say. I like the sub. Thank you, Wabu. Appreciate it, brother. How do I get mods? Simply by within the stream, man. Hey, I really don't know you expect the fact that my brother really likes watching you, and it's his birthday today, so I was wondering if you could give him a shout out. His name is Nick Gurr. Nick, huge shout out to you, dude. Your brother's an absolute legend. Both of you are absolute legends. Keep killing it, guys. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream. And a happy birthday to you, man. Hopefully you have a good one. Yikes, dudes. Like, what are you doing, brother? Why wasn't he like... That strat clearly wasn't working. FaZe Rug's in the stream. Guys, FaZe Rug is not in the live stream. Imagine if I lost that gunfight, though. Would have been terrible. Probably would have had to stop the stream, in all honesty. What's up, Anthony? Alright, I gotta get some more wood. When will I do Octagonal Ascension or something super hard like that map again? It's been so long since I've done that map. I should use probably use my campfire here. What's up, Logan? Wait, Ocean, why'd you say oh no? Campfire, bro? Yeah, I'm gonna use it here in a sec. What are coins for? So, Kobe, you can use coins to enter into massive giveaways that I do at the end of every single month on my channel. We give away gift cards, we give away merch, we give away GFuel, and we give away V-Bucks. And we do that at the end of every month. The way you enter into the giveaway is by using the coins that you've earned simply by watching the live streams. It's pretty dope. It's pretty legendary. La da dee dum diddly doo da dee. Check Discord. Reggie. Alright, I will, man. Just PM it to me on Discord, Ocean, if you want. Do you need Twitter or Domino's? Wait, what? No, to enter into the giveaway, you don't need a Twitter, man. You literally just need to be in the live stream when we're doing the actual giveaway, which happens like the last day of every single month. Or the first of a month. Depending on if I forget to do it, or if I can do it, if I'm ready to do it. So yeah, our next giveaway is going to happen in like 8 days. Right, isn't it going to be 8 days? Something like that. February. Where is he? Oh, he's down below. Actually, hold on. Do we need a PayPal for the giveaways? No, you don't necessarily need a PayPal for the giveaways. It depends on what we're giving away. If we're giving away V-Bucks, then yeah, PayPal is preferable. Just because that's usually the way that I actually send you guys the V-Bucks. Because, like, obviously you guys can't, you know, I have no way to gift you V-Bucks, right? That's not an actual feature. Wow. Yeah, I didn't even notice that, bro.
He made you say Nick Jer the N word
Yeah.
insults and also love the streams.
Yeah. Yeah, I just appreciated that, man. So that's so funny, bro. Here I am. Here I am thinking that you were just doing something nice, right? Silly me. Oh, how silly me. that's frustrating, bro. I didn't think he had any more shield left. He's 27 HP. He's probably going to survive that. God damn it, man. That really stinks. Whatever. It is what it is, man. What's up, Nexter? How you doing today, Bryce? Welcome to the stream, brother. Appreciate you coming out. Welcome, 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 my guy. Let's get a rip in the chat. What's up, Marco? Yeah, we'll just ban that guy that tried to make me say that in the Twitch stream. That stuff's just annoying, bro. I mean, granted, I shouldn't have fallen for it. Cause stuff like that's been pulled on me before. I wasn't mentally prepared for that. But yeah, it's all good. Yo, if you guys are enjoying the stream, though, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe if you're new. We've been having bad luck today, man. Bad luck today. Good fight on that guy's part, though. Yo, what's up, Coyote? Are you gonna stream today? Bro, you do realize this is a live stream, right? What webcam do I use? Yo, so DCEU Flash, I do appreciate your $1 donation, man. I do appreciate your $1 donation. What's up, Henis? What's up, YouTube gamer? Turn down for your what? Do I have a lot of skins? No, I don't have a whole lot of skins, man. Hey, what's up, Mouse Thing? Welcome to the Twitch stream, dude. Pickup lines? You guys are more than welcome to try to hit me with some pickup lines. More than welcome. What's up, Ziz? How long is the live stream? I'll probably stream for like 3 hours or so. That's my guess. What's up, Crazy? Had to do a double take there because I thought I saw a pump or something. Congrats on 180 or 281K. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, we hit it this morning. We're already at 281,400, which is awesome. I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick, guys. I'll be right back. I'm loving it. Hi, guys. What's poppin', chat? Did I miss anything? Any donations? Nope. This is my first time using Twitch. Hey, the one Manny 21. What's up, brother? Season 3 hype. Was that only him shooting at me? Nope. Three HP. I don't know what to do right here. I don't have any more building material. Choke 2 easy shots on him, man. Feels sad. What's up, Henis? How's your day going? Ziz from Era. I'm actually doing pretty good. Welcome to the stream. What's up, Peanut Man? What's up, Liquor? When's the update for Season 3 coming out? I'm pretty sure it comes out sometime tomorrow early morning, like sometime Eastern time tomorrow morning. I should not have choked those shots. That's the type of stuff I can't choke, man. Hey, Sharon with a $2 donation. Thank you so much.
IHWVE, been watching you since COD Grin Smile.
Hey, Sharon, thank you so much for the $2 donation. I do appreciate that a ton. Let's get some Sharon hype in the chat. Appreciate your donation. What's up, DNZ Entertainment? Yo, is Dismo in here too? Dismo just typed, yeah, I just typed wow, didn't I? Yeah. All right, Dismo, this one's for you right here, baby. All right, I got you. If you guys are new to the channel, drop a like and subscribe. Appreciate the support. I'm going Tilted Towers for you, Dismo. All right, got you, man. Do I ever listen to Netflix? Did you mean to say, do I ever watch Netflix? What webcam do I use? Logitech Brio. If you want any of my specs, man, for like my entire setup, check. Ooh, I do have to add something else to my setup too. I forgot to add my monitors. I thought I updated everything for my specs this morning, but I forgot to tell you guys what monitors I use. I think I literally have everything else added. That's such a shame. Forgot to add that. How do I feel about the double pump nerf? I'm fine with it. I'm not a big fan of using the double pump, so as you can imagine, I'm not a big fan of getting killed by it either. You're such a loser, bro. Kids that go for the pickaxe kill, literally. Oh, that's so obnoxious, man. Thank God I found a med kit. If you do that in a game when you're fighting somebody, like when you both land at the same tower, that's so pathetic. It's like the instant sign for a terrible player. I'm not even gonna lie. There's nothing really that triggers me more than having kids immediately come at you with a pickaxe in Fortnite. I don't think I could singularly be triggered by one thing more than that. That was a horrible way to say that, but you guys get what I'm saying, all right? Need a shotgun. Go to prison, please? I'm good, man. Okay.
apparently there's gonna be a legendary shotgun.
Stop. That's not what I want to hear. I don't think a legendary shotgun would work well, man. Like, I just genuinely don't. I gotta go back down and get this guy's stuff. You gotta be kidding me, man. He one pumps me. What's up, FTW? Sorry, Dismo, I failed you. Sharon, thank you so much for your 2, but I don't think a legendary shotgun would work. Just think about it. It's like, if that's their way of compensating for the fact that they're going to remove the double pump, that just doesn't make any sense. Because the double pump, even though they left it in the game for a while, it's the way it's used as a double pump right now was not the way it was intended to be used, you know? Right? Like, whether or not it's ethical or should be allowed in the game is up to the developers, really. But nobody can deny the fact that that wasn't the way the weapon was intended to be used, right? And so that's why they're finally addressing it and finally nerfing it. And it'll be interesting to see how that actually gets affected, you know? What's up, Connie? Do you want me to sub? You sub if you want. Do I have a PS4? Yes, I do, but I never play on it. What's my favorite car? BMW i8. Where am I from? The grand state of Maine. If you guys are new to the channel, drop a like and subscribe. We're 5 likes away from 800 likes. Appreciate all the support on today's stream, guys, already. What's up, Simon? How do you be-live? How do you be-live or live, man? I'm doing good. Didn't I kill Ninja with a pickaxe? I did, yeah. Nothing impressive about that, though. It's a fun video, but nothing impressive about that. And that was the biggest thing that threw me off about that. Everybody in the comments is thinking like I'm trying to make some sort of a statement by saying like I'm some sort of amazing player because I pickaxe Ninja. It's like that's not what you should be taking away from this video, you know? It is what it is, though. What do I think of the crossbow? I think it's alright. It's more of a gag weapon than anything else. Of course, you know. Alright, let's get in the zone. Auto zone. Oops. Real smooth, Henis. Real smooth. Okie dokie. YouTube is broken? I don't know, man. YouTube definitely has its issues for sure. I can still upload videos and live stream though, so I'm a happy YouTuber. There we go. I see a guy. What's up, Sacriel? What's up, Dion? He's running this house right here. We're at such a horrible angle because we can't start building yet. Okay, now we can. There's definitely a third player in all this too, wasn't there? I don't have that much building material left. Jesus, bro. Yikes. Okay. Okay, we are good. What's up, it's Mario? Shoot, was there no other building material from all these guys that I killed? 7 kills so far, 30 people left. That's pretty good. One last look around. What's up, Brian? Coast is clear, ladies and gentlemen. I vote we get the hell out of here. On to the next POV. Or POI. POV. What's up, Marco? How long am I going to stream for? Probably about 3 hours, man. Not as smooth as I wanted that to be, but still pretty cool. What's my favorite GFuel? Nade Shots Lemonade. By far my favorite flavor. Favorite place to land or where you land the most and why? I think I land at Salty Springs the most. One, because it's always a... You can pretty much always be guaranteed to get some pretty good loot. And it's in the center of the map. So after you go to Salty, you have a lot of options for where you can go if you need to head to the safe zone. Guy down here in the water. I don't know who he's shooting at either. Here it is. I was like, well, I heard the sniper. So where is it? Boom, boom. I think I saw a potion up here too. Nope, can't find it. That's even better though. I'll take that. How you doing today, Fortnite God? Welcome to the stream, my man. Somebody definitely put a trap in there, you can tell. Can I get a shout out? Monkey, how you doing today, man? Yep. 2 traps in there. Whew, I don't know why. I just got lightheaded there for a second. It's weird. Hi, I'm new. What's up, Jack Steed? How you doing today, man? Salty sucks? Really? You don't like landing in Salty? I think Salty's a great spot to land. New to the stream, FTW. Welcome, brother. Hopefully you're having a good time. Drop a follow if you're new. Damn. I don't know why I feel dizzy all of a sudden. I think I'm alright. Feel weird though. I don't know why. Like something literally just came over me. Like instantly. What's up, Benny? What's up, Kobe? Shoot. Yikes, that's gotta hurt. Yikes, bro. What the heck? You've absolutely got to be kidding me, man. He took off that much damage with 1 pump. That is so frustrating. Oh, my God. That's the type of stuff that makes you not sleep at night, bro. David Lesher, thank you for the follow. What PC do I have? It's a custom build from iBuyPower, man. So both PCs that I have are both custom builds. The old PC that I have that I use as my streaming PC now also came from iBuyPower. How do I feel about Save the World? I've only played it a couple times, man. The reason I like it as a YouTuber is because you can actually use it to get some pretty nice thumbnails. That's a major L. I think he edited a wall and shot me. Too much GFuel will make you lightheaded? No, it won't. Yo, I'm in lunch. Hey, Pedro, what's up, brother? Hopefully you're having a good one, man. Hey, what's up, Wizard? How you doing, man? Bro, I gotta win 1 game in the stream, bro. I can't just, like, not win a single game. What's up, Uncensored? If you guys are enjoying the stream, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. 12 likes away from hitting 900 likes in the stream. And when you subscribe, you'll see your name appear in the lower right-hand corner, just like my man, Owen Newton. Thank you for the love. How many days until Season 3? It comes out tomorrow, bro. Which I'm pretty excited about. What monitors do I use? So the main monitor that I use here is a BenQ XL2420Z. If people really want to go salty, I say they're salty. Really? You don't like it, man? You don't like it that much? There's so many loot options. The houses are usually pretty nicely stocked with some good loot. I don't know, we're gonna try going retail for right now. Retail's got a lot of good options too. Do I use a 1080? Yeah, my gaming PC I do. For my streaming PC, I have a 970. What's GFuel? So it's an energy drink that I drink pretty much on a daily basis. And you guys can use code Henis for 10% off your entire order of GFuel, which is really cool. It's an energy drink I've been drinking long before I even got sponsored by them. So I really like them for a lot of reasons. One, they come in dozens of different flavors, and they're a lot healthier for you than a lot of other GFuel, or than a lot of other energy drinks. I gotta get in here and get a weapon because this guy's got a shotgun. So. Of course, all I get is this though. I don't know where he's headed. Can't tell if he went out the front door or what he's doing. That's huge. Let's go. Oh, he had a scar, bro. Oh my god, this guy was really stocked. Holy crap. Really wish I had some heals right now because I've only got 55 HP. What headset do I use? HyperX Cloud 2s. Yikes. That was also really clutch. Whoa. Really got to get some more HP here, though. My lord. What's up, crazy? I don't know where else to push right now. Because I kind of want to stay out of the way of enemy players. Please have heals, please have heals, please have heals, please have heals. Nothing, dude. Sick. Awesome. That's really just fantastic. That's exactly what I needed. Thank you so much. What's up, Lucas? Oh, man, dude. I've got 34 HP. And I'm running around. I guess I'm just going to try to go factory at this point. I've checked all those houses. If I push into somebody who went to the stores, I'm more than likely just going to get melted. What's up, Asboard? How you doing today, Lucas? What's up, the mini gamer? I just watched the Stairway to Heaven challenge. A ninja. Hopefully you enjoyed it, bro. I don't know why, bro. Something's really coming over me right now. I was hoping to have that propel me right into here. I was hoping I wasn't going to take any fall damage right there. That'd been funny if I did. What's up, crazy guy? I always hit 2 of those, though. I got to start getting smoother with that transition. All right, he's over there at the 18-wheeler. What's up, low gang for life? We need 40 more likes, still 1,000. We do, guys. And thank you so much for all the subs as well. 6 subs away from hitting 281,500. Yikes, bro. That guy was a good player, you could tell. Shoot, man. Feel sad, feel sad. What's up, Mortis? How you doing today, my man? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Cam? Did I miss anything? No, Logan, you're fine. Show the item shop. I got you. I got you. All right, guys. I think I'm going to go ahead and do one more game because I, all of a sudden, am feeling just, like, really hungry and really out of it. So, I don't know. Maybe I didn't eat enough this morning. I had 5 waffles, though. I don't know how I could possibly be, like, hungry out of my mind right now. I got to get something to eat after this, though. For sure, for sure. How many wins do I have today? None, man. That's what's weird. I've been playing off. I am going to have another live stream later tonight, though, guys. So that's why I don't feel extremely bad about cutting the stream short. But we're going to try to go ahead and get one more win, and then I will be live for you guys again later tonight. So if you guys don't have notifications on for the screen, make sure you guys tap the bell icon right below the video player next to my channel name. Screenshot it and tweet it at me on Twitter at ProHenis, because I do follow every single notification squad member back on Twitter. That was a good game? Yeah, that was a good game. Yes, I will be streaming later tonight. Absolutely. So make sure you guys have on notifications so you know exactly when I go live later tonight. What's up, the goat? Henis, I was watching your Custom Zombie stream. I don't really play too much more Custom Zombies, man, but... I mean... I got that infinite building glitch where it sounds like I'm trying to build. You guys hear that? It's like a clicking noise. I love you inspired me, Monkey King. That means a lot, bro. What time tonight? Probably around 7 o'clock Eastern time. What am I going to eat? I got some pizza, and I got some buffalo wings, so I'm just going to go ham. That's a really annoying glitch. Yeah, but look at that. That's the glitch right there. Alright, then it goes away. Thank God. Okay. Actually, I don't know where I put this. Here we go. Wow, really, really solid weapons to start everything off here. My lord. What's up, Fortnite Sav? How you doing today, my man? Fortnite Savage. Ooh, thank God. He's right below, right beneath me. What's up, AJ? Just followed you on Twitch. Hey, thank you, Landon. I appreciate that a ton, bro. I feel sad, man. Whoa, what the heck? Just alt-tabbed out of my game. Alright, guys. I am really hungry, so I'm gonna get... oh, God, I can't even talk. I'm gonna go get something to eat, and I will be live again for you guys later tonight. We are gonna get a win tonight. Absolutely. It's gonna happen. This morning, we really struggled, though. I'm gonna try to do more of these streams consistently, though. More of these sort of early morning streams. Because I really feel like these early morning streams could really help grow my channel. So I really do want to do 2 streams today. So I did this one right now. I am going to do sort of a longer, later night stream, as you guys know, when I usually stream. So hopefully you guys will come through. Make sure you guys have on notifications for the stream. Subscribe to the channel and drop a like on this one if you haven't done so already. Follow my Twitter. My Twitter is at ProHenis, just in case notifications don't go out. You guys will know when I go live because I do tweet out every time I go live. But yeah, guys, that's all. I'll see your beautiful faces in the next one. Until next time, everybody, keep gaming, and as always, stay cool. Adios.